More than 50 years ago, a study was launched that eventually lasted for several decades. Based on it, many scientific works and books were written dedicated to human behavior, and in particular self-control and its impact on our lives. This study became known as the Marshmallow Experiment. During the experiment, a plate with a marshmallow was placed in front of preschool children. The child was told that the researcher needed to step away for a few minutes, and if the child could wait for the adult's return, they would be allowed to eat 2 marshmallows. If the child lacked self-control and could not wait, they could ring a bell, and the researcher would immediately return. But in that case, the child was only allowed to eat 1 marshmallow. In simpler terms, each child had a choice: to get a small reward right away or to wait 15 minutes for a greater reward. As expected, some children were able to wait for the researcher, while others gave in to temptation. For an adult, it seems obvious that it's much better to wait a little and get a delayed but more valuable reward. Nevertheless, just like the children in the experiment, we test our self-control and make similar choices almost every day. And as statistics show, we don't handle it much better than preschoolers. We may neglect our diet and enjoy the immediate pleasure of sweets and other tasty but not so healthy foods. Or we can start paying attention to nutrition and work out regularly for the sake of a fit body and good health in the future. And although it is more logical to choose the delayed and more valuable reward in the future, just like the children in the experiment, we don't always manage our self-control and often give in to quick and easy temptations. So, what happened to the children later? They grew up, went to school, then to work, and all this time the experiment continued. The researchers conducted surveys, monitored their academic results, and tracked their career growth. As a result, those who had done better in the marshmallow test as children later showed higher academic success, handled stress better, took more care of their health, were less prone to bad habits, had higher paying jobs, and even had lower rates of excess weight compared to their peers. Those children who had performed poorly on the marshmallow test in childhood, even 40 years later, struggled more with tasks requiring self-control. In additional brain studies, researchers found that the prefrontal cortex, the brain area responsible for executive functions such as decision-making, was more active in subjects with high self-control, while the ventral striatum, the area responsible for processing desires and rewards, was more active in those with low self-control. From all the research above, we can draw one very important conclusion. The most important skill we can develop is learning to control our self-control. Our willpower, learning to say no to easy pleasures and temptations in favor of long-term benefits. Because a high level of self-control is not just useful, but an extremely important part of our lives that leads to positive changes in all other areas. The good news is that our willpower can be trained almost like any other muscle in our body. Just like a muscle, our self-control has a reserve of strength that gets depleted as we use it. But the more often and more effectively we train our willpower, the easier it becomes to resist new temptations for the sake of future rewards. So, how do we train self-control? There are several basic rules and exercises that can help us strengthen our self-control and become more disciplined. First, the low-load tactic. This is the simplest and probably the most effective exercise for training self-control. You need to find some action that you usually don't do, but that is at least a little useful and does not require huge effort. For example, we can wipe the dust off our desk every day, or tidy up the room if we didn't do it before or did it very rarely. Or if you don't read books regularly, you can promise yourself to read a couple of paragraphs every night before bed. The most important thing is that this action should be unusual for you, maybe not very pleasant, but still simple and useful. Second, the 1% rule. Don't try to load your willpower to the maximum in the first days. Most likely, just like with physical exercise, you'll burn out quickly. Instead, we should develop our self-control gradually, step by step, becoming 1% better every day than we were yesterday. Once an action for training self-control becomes a habit and you start doing it automatically, you can either come up with a new action or make the old one more challenging. For example, not just wiping the desk every day, but cleaning all the furniture in the room. It will only take a couple of minutes longer, but it will give additional load to your willpower. Third, the Seinfeld strategy. Jerry Seinfeld is one of the most famous and successful comedians in the world. For decades, he has hosted shows, written jokes, and remained one of the highest paid and most popular comedians. Once he was asked what his secret was and how he came up with his best jokes, he replied that the best way to write great jokes is simply to write every day, regardless of mood or weather, not trying to create one perfect joke, but just writing every single day, never breaking the chain. The same goes for our self-discipline. To skip a workout or not do a simple action from the previous steps, you can always find thousands of excuses excuses. But if we want to train our willpower, we need to complete the tasks no matter what, even if the quality of the work sometimes drops a little. To track progress, you can use a calendar and cross off days one by one, or use the simplest counter on your phone to track how many days in a row you've completed the task. This helps you visually track your progress and regularity, and it also motivates you to keep going. Fourth, the 10-minute rule. If we face temptation and feel like we are about to give in, we can use the 10-minute rule. The idea is simple. When facing temptation and your willpower is about to break, tell yourself, okay, I'll give myself 10 minutes, and if after that time I still really want to do it or eat it, then I will. Then, try to distance yourself from the object of desire physically and mentally. Research shows that people are much less likely to give in to temptation if they simply remove the object from sight. Also, try to switch to something else during these 10 minutes. Go for a walk, do a few squats, or read something. Most likely, after these 10 minutes, the strong desire will fade, and it will be easier to say no to the quick pleasure, and your willpower will grow stronger. And if the desire remains just as strong, you can go ahead, but afterwards try to remove anything that might trigger the same temptation next time. In conclusion, we can confidently say one thing. If we want to achieve success in something, at some point we will have to become disciplined and start doing what is necessary instead of getting distracted and doing what is easy. All the rules and tips from this video can help you build a solid foundation of self-control that will lead you to new achievements. In our Telegram channel, you'll find plenty of articles and recommendations on self-discipline, as well as personal development. If these topics interest you, you can find the link to the channel in the description. I'd be glad to see you there. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss new videos. Thanks for watching and see you soon.